and get started, even though I can see folks are still joining. We have Tracy Childs here today for our Wellness Wednesday. She is a healthy food advocate who has been embracing the plant-based lifestyle since she was a teenager as a vegetarian and then vegan as a young adult. She's dedicated to spreading the message of how plants and lifestyle choices can heal the planet, protect animals, and help us avoid needless suffering from lifestyle-related diseases. She is the co-founder, chef, and director of Tracys Real Foods, a whole foods plant-based company that ships healthy goodies nationwide. I know that I think it's in her PowerPoint, but check out Tracy's website. I did yesterday, and you can see all the yummy goodies that she has available there. She also is the founder and director of PlantDiego, a San Diego-based nonprofit plant pure pod inspired by the movie Plant Pure Nation to educate and support people in living a healthy, whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Today, we are going to learn tips and tricks and meal prep and things to make plant-based whole food eating easy for all of us to embrace. So thank you, Tracy, for being here, and I'll let you take it away.
Well, thank you, Sarah. So I'm really happy to be here, and thank you to California Lawyers Association Health and Wellness Group or Committee for inviting me. I'm really honored to do this and just share the message that I'm so passionate about. Just wanted to, go through a little bit of my presentation just to show you my thinking behind what I'm doing and what but I want to get to the cooking too. So I just, let's go ahead and share that to start. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself too while we're going. So my idea was to do super prepped. And I know lawyers like to be prepped because my son's a lawyer. So I like to be prepped in the kitchen. I also like to be prepped in other parts of my life and my work. But this is something that I'm really passionate about, is just making sure that I cover the bases as far as my diet is concerned. And because it's super important. I've got a lot of knowledge about this topic and how to eat a whole food plant-based diet and the reasons why you might want to do it. And but I know that people struggle a lot. And so I'm busy too. So I've come up with just some ideas of things that I think are really nice and easy to prep and have on hand, and some meals to throw together. And I expect you all to take this information and personalize it and just make it your own. So let's go to the next slide. So as my Sarah said, I've made healthy and sustainable eating a priority and started this lifestyle in 1990. Actually, I became, like she said, a vegetarian as a teen. So I didn't know anybody else who was vegetarian. And this was, I don't want to date myself, but it was a long time ago. And so I always felt just kind of I needed some knowledge. So I just kept reading about it and educating myself, and really just, sucking in and taking in anything I could find on the subject. So I became like a really good advocate for it. I became certified as a Food for Life instructor with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine in 2005. So that meant that I was out in my community in San Diego teaching whole food plant-based cooking. And it started as a cancer prevention survival class. So it was taking people who are either interested in preventing cancer, and that's all of us, or people who have are interested in preventing a recurrence of cancer. So we taught them the tools, and I still do teach them the tools that are the best things you can do to just lower your risk. And that's really all we can expect to do. And so how foods can really be a partner, and how foods can really help and make a difference. So I also am a coach. I teach and coach people on plant-based eating, and I just totally personalize it for you. I know people are super busy, so if they want to keep it super simple, I make sure it's simple, and that's what we're doing today. It's very simple. Go to the next slide. So, and I've become a chef. So when the pandemic hit, well, I already was, but I was already working on my brand. Let me show you my brand. Whole food plant-based goodies and things, and just kind of for either to sell to classes or to give as gifts. And so I was working on my little logo, and it's really cute, and my labeling and stuff, and these bags, and was already doing it when the pandemic hit, and I couldn't do my in-person classes, in-person coaching, in-person events. My husband and I decided to just jump in and start our company, Tracys Real Foods. So our goal is just to create foods that we can all feel good about, good for the planet, good for the animals, good for ourselves, and, you know, guilt-free. And so you can see that I'm a fan of lentils. Lentils is the first ingredient of my cookies. This is my double chocolate cookies. And I'm going to show you some lentils today. I also have granolas, and these are buckwheat based, and crackers too. So I wanted to make it easier for people and incorporate these superfoods into these everyday snacks. And we ship nationwide. Next slide. So what is a healthy diet? People are so confused by that. I mean, I can't believe how long I've been in this and how many times I've heard, you know, just different generations of the Atkins diet come up, or different things. But there's so much confusion. But thanks to nutritional science, it's getting clearer and clearer every day. And I want to just share with people my ideas is just to keep it whole, keep your foods whole as much as possible, which means not so many processed foods. Keep it simple, keep it plant-based as much as possible, because plants are your friends. They're really nutritionally, you know, substantial for everyone. You can, you know, I do 100% plant-based diet, but you know, people can do it however they like, but we all should eat more plants. And, you know, it's funny, I've seen statistics, and already most people eat, or the whole world eats almost 80% plant-based anyway. So most foods are plant-based. There's just that 20% of the other foods that are in there. And I like to focus on my nutrient-dense foods. I want to make sure that those are kind of prepped and ready, and can add to my other foods that aren't quite as nutritionist dense, but make sure that those are handy and easy to do. So I call those superfoods. Next. So what is your advantage? So that's something that a lot of people are finding out more and more about, and moving towards this. In fact, I know a lot of even cardiologists are asking their patients to go plant-based now. A lot of doctors are asking their patients to go plant-based now, so it's great. So increased immunity through better nutrition. So, and yes, that includes COVID-19. That's if you're eating more whole foods and nutrient-dense foods, you're going to have better immunity to whatever comes along. So, and that's for sure. Remember that protein is not a problem at all. There's protein in all of your foods. I'm going to show you some high protein foods today, but you know, it's not a daily worry, that's for sure. And think about your gut health. That's the center of your being, everybody. That is what makes you go, what makes you tick. And the more plants you eat and the less processed your diet, the better your gut health is. I have a little handout that I can send you if you email me at hello@tracysrealfoods.com. That is all about gut health. It's like, it's such a fascination to me. You can maintain your optimal weight. So if you're especially getting rid of the oils, the nutrient dense, calorie dense foods, that especially oil is the number one. calorie dense food. If you think about it, there's just 100% calories, 100% fat. Fat is the most nutrient dense food there is. So that's one thing to remember about what foods are high in fat. And then if I decrease those, then you hopefully should get towards your optimal weight. I found I have better energy. A lot of people find they have better energy. When you're doing this, you're automatically increasing your nutrition. Food tastes amazing. That's the great thing, is that it only takes 21 days to change your taste buds. Your taste buds are regenerating all the time. And so even if you think, oh, I don't really like vegetables and fruits and whole foods right now, if you just kind of ease your way into it, you're going to find you get satisfied with those simple foods, and they taste great. And it's a great lifestyle. I just love that I'm doing what I can for the planet and for the animals and for my own health. Next. And what's the disadvantage? What's the downside? Well, guess what? You're probably going to have to get into the kitchen unless you're a millionaire or you're married to a whole food plant-based chef like my husband. So he's, he's in the kitchen now because I sucked him in. We're in a food business together. But in general, he hasn't been interested in cooking before. But it's fun. It's actually fun to get in the kitchen. And once you get comfortable with it, and actually make it a priority, then you can find that it's actually, a good time. And like I said, it takes 21 days. Good to be gentle on yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you don't, make your goals every day. But it is good to make a plan, prepare ahead, and just do your best. And go ahead and find some go-to recipes. So that's what this is about. I'm giving you some recipes that maybe you'll find are your go-to recipes. Next. And what are superfoods? So I see at the store and online things about superfoods. Maybe it's spirulina, or maybe it's goji berries, or, these things that might not be so easy to get a hold of, especially, and then in some cases, they don't really taste that great. So to me, I'm not going to really eat these things that don't taste great. I'm not going to incorporate them into my plan. So really it depends on who you're talking about. But my opinion is, do your research, keep it simple, personalize it, and just focus on those everyday foods. I'm going to show you that those are great superfoods. Next, here are some great places to start is, so this is your research. There's who's heard of Dr. Michael Greger and nutritionfacts.org? Yes, thank you. So these are his daily dozen. This is what he thinks that is advantageous for you to incorporate into your diet every day. And, I definitely took this into consideration. It's very close to what I call Tracy's 12, which I'm going to show you. Next is the G-bombs. So I used to work for Dr. Furman. He's a famous doctor, has written lots of books, and he has a great acronym there. And he keeps it super simple, just greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. And I'm going to add to that a little more, but he says if you want to prevent cancer or recurrence, those are the foods you can focus on to make sure you include in your diet every day. Next. And then the PCRM has their nutrition rainbow, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and that's who I'm certified to teach with, my Food for Life program. And so you can actually Google this. PCRM Nutrition Rainbow, and get your own. It's a nice fact sheet. It's a nice little thing to print out, or you could order the posters from them too. Next. And just think about the rainbow. That's one of the most important things you can do. Every time I talk to people about veganism, in fact, I'm in PT, and then my therapist, what's the first thing out of her mouth? Protein. I said, I don't think protein is really the problem. It's actually micronutrients is the problem. Fiber is the problem. Nobody's dying of a protein deficiency. People are dying of nutrition deficiency in general. That's what is causing a lot of over time, our bodies to break down, is that we're not getting the right nutrition. So, and getting it, look at that under there, raises your metabolism too. So that's the one of the great things to remember, is that when you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and whole foods, it actually makes your body work for you, makes your food work for you. You're actually, without even doing anything, you're increasing your metabolism, which means you're going to burn calories even faster. Next. So here's my Tracy's 12, and I have a little cheat sheet on this with some information that I can send you guys if you email me at hello@tracysrealfoods.com. And these are the foods that you don't necessarily need to put in every day, but just a great idea to focus on. These are the foods to buy at the store when you go to the store every week, and incorporate them throughout the week. So a lot of people are surprised to see soy is like number one. I love having some soy in my diet, some tofu, soybeans, tempeh, edamame. It's been proven it's good for your bone health, good for your heart health, great for combating those pesky symptoms, menopausal and premenopausal symptoms. So I'm going to show you a great tempeh recipe. And carotenoid-rich orange veggies, such as sweet potatoes, red, which is your tomatoes and watermelon, beans and lentils. Those are really important for fiber, for protein. The fiber is, I can't say enough about fiber and how important it is, and how it's going to keep you full on less calories. And it's also going to help detoxify your body. It's going to help your digestive system, all those great things. So that's beans are your fiber champion. They have the most fiber per half a cup or whatever. It's easy to get your fiber when you eat beans. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. So just try to put turmeric in. I'm going to show you a great recipe where I'm using turmeric. Onions are great for your cancer prevention and for your gut health. I'm going to show you a great way to incorporate more onions. Green cruciferous veggies are super important. They help for hormone control, heart health, calcium. Mushrooms. People are sometimes surprised to know how important mushrooms are. So I always buy mushrooms whenever I go to the store and I'm stocking up. Purple, berries, beets, red cabbage for cell repair, cancer, diabetes prevention, great for your cardiovascular, neurological health. Green tea. So green tea, I try to incorporate that every day. It's good for brain function, fat loss, heart and cancer protective. Now, don't forget the seeds, number 11, the flax, the hemp seeds, the chia seeds, super important. And then the grains, your quinoa, your whole grains. I'm going to show you something with quinoa. Next. And so today we're just going to go over these recipes. If you registered yesterday, you probably got the email with this PDF. And these are, I'm not going to make all these today, but I want to show you a few that incorporate this. And this is the kind of thing you might go through and in one day or maybe two, create these things and keep them in the fridge, just ready for the week. You might want to double the recipes or whatever. But there's another sheet of recipes that is, that you can make based on these foods. And next. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some foods, and let's go ahead and shift over. And here we go. All right, so I want to start actually with the holiday meal that I had selected for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and put my squash in the oven. So I've got my oven at 400 degrees and I'm putting in, I already cooked the delicata squash. I'm just kind of heating it up right now. But who's used delicata squash before? It's just so festive, so beautiful. I'm going to show you in a little bit an easy way to cut this up. But let's get started with our curried lentil pilaf. So as you know, I'm a big fan of lentils, right? And keeping them on hand and cooked. And let me see. So I wanted to show you, I do like to soak my lentils first. So I do soak them. These are the raw ones soaked. I guess I can't tip this. Let me see here. Let me drain it a little bit. And they actually start to sprout when you soak them. They're raw little seeds. There we go. And they start to sprout. So that's really makes them even more healthy. So what I do is I give them a soak, and then I drain them, and then I add more water about an inch or two over, and then I cook them until they're done. And when you do soak them, they cook much faster. Usually lentils take about 45 minutes, but when you do this, it cuts it in half, maybe even less. So depending on how long you're able to soak them. So that's what I did today to create the lentils. But I'm going to go ahead and start our little saute here. Oops, don't unplug. Okay. All right, so what I've got is my stove here, my little portable stove. And the recipe calls for sauteing an onion with your tomatoes and your mushrooms. But I'm going to show you a shortcut. I'm going to just skip the onions, but because I'm going to show you a different thing with onions, and just saute everything with some tomatoes and some. Let me see if I can get this closer. And some mushrooms. So these are mushrooms. I've got a recipe for prepping mushrooms ahead too, just baking them in the oven. But I decided to just go ahead and use these. All right, so I just get the heat up and get that going. So this creates a nice base for your spices and for your other vegetables and for your pilaf, which is a quinoa and lentil based. So I've got some carrots. I just really show you really fast. So these are grated carrots, so that makes it really fast. So you can just buy them grated already. Now, carrots are a great source of beta carotene, amazing for the immune system. You see this here? I'm gonna go ahead and get this a little closer, guys. So I've got my spices, and so this is a curried lentil pilaf. So there's some curry in here. And what I did was I decided to skip the, to make it faster, skip the onions and the garlic. So I've got onion powder and garlic powder. I've also got some of my favorite herbs, which is Italian seasoning. Even though I'm making curry, I love Italian seasoning in almost everything. So I add that. Let me get this tray out of the way. I can get you closer. There we go. Okay, so now I turn down the heat a little bit because you don't want to scorch your spices too much, but I like to add my spices in when it's the nice dry pan, or kind of just moist, and get extra heat on those spices to bring out the flavor. And then this is my homemade vegetable broth. So I just add a little bit of that to this. So you can use, of course, vegetable broth you buy at the store. But what I do is I save all my stems of kale and ends of onions and ends of celery and put it in the freezer. And then I make broth with it. So I happened to make broth today, and it was really easy to do. You just fill up a pan like this with the water over your vegetables, let it cook for about 45 minutes, bring it to a boil, then let it simmer for about 45 minutes, and you're set. Just drain it, and then I compost those veggies, of course. All right, so now I am going to see how fast this is going, you guys. You guys got your mushrooms, your tomatoes, your broth, your spices, and then I have my cooked quinoa. You guys have a recipe for making anti-inflammatory quinoa. You can see it's a little yellow. I add turmeric to my quinoa when I make it. I also soak my quinoa and drain it. So that makes a fluffier quinoa. And even if you soak it for just like 15 minutes, it's going to make a difference because it's very porous. It soaks up really fast. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and add our quinoa in here. So about a couple cups, just a couple cups of quinoa, a couple cups of lentils. And now we have this wonderful everyday, really fast, but you know what? You can also make it pop with adding some dried fruit. So I've got these are dried cherries that are fruit sweetened, and they're called Tart Cherries, and they just make this whole thing pop. Now, what did I do? I soaked them. So I'm going to drain them real quick. Okay, why did I soak them? Is because they actually have oil on them. So I like to soak them. It actually makes it more digestible and tastier. And so it's just a step you can take, but you don't have to. But, that's what I do, is just to make them tastier and more digestible also. All right, so you saw how fast that is. It's basically done. You can get out I'm going to go ahead and get my squash out. So here's a cooked delicata, roasted delicata squash, right? I just split it in half, scooped out the seeds. And now you can just add some of your wonderful festive pilaf to it. And to make it extra special, what do we have here? More antioxidants, pomegranate. So look at that. So that is super pretty, super festive, very filling, and you stuff something, so you're good for Thanksgiving. All right, so that was the quick.
Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to show you also how to incorporate tempeh. And I love tempeh, but it is a little bit sharp. There's a little bit of a sharpness. Who's had tempeh before? Any of you guys? Who's had it? Gary, you've had it. Lauren? Yeah, so raise your hand. I can't see who's raised their hand, but so it is soybeans that have been fermented and all stuck together. And it's an amazing power food. It's high in protein, high in fiber because it's a whole soybean. Now, we're big fans of tofu here too. And this one's a really super firm one. So if you wanted to use that, I have a great go-to recipe for that called Tofu Steaks. And it's super fast. I make it all the time. My husband loves tofu. So I make it like every week. And it's on my blog, tracysrealfoods.com. Go to the blog and look for the tofu steaks. Super easy. All right. But I want to show you this one. Okay. So you got your tempeh, and this is what it looks like. And I've cut it up into some pieces. I wanted to show you real fast how you can do that. Let's see here. So just cut it into small pieces. It tends to absorb a lot of liquid. And I think that's important too when you're making tempeh, is to incorporate a sauce or something for it to expand and become more digestible and a little mellow out the flavor. It does have a bite to it because it is a fermented food, and it's got a nutty kind of consistency. So, before I do this, I want to make a sauce. So here's our sauce. Let's get this ready. This is a glaze sauce. And we're using some miso. Let me get the miso out to show you. So who's used miso before? Miso is also a great food. It's obviously very high in salt, because you guys have had miso soup, you know it's super salty. But it's easy to use and create really fun and eat a recipe. It adds a lot of flavor. It adds that umami flavor that a lot of people love. I do. So what I'm doing now is just with my glaze, I'm going to add, let's keep this over here. Add my miso. I've got some turmeric in here, of course. Anytime I can add turmeric, I'm doing that. I'm going to add some, this is date paste or date syrup. You can add maple syrup. I love adding, let's see here, over here. I love adding some date syrup. So give it a nice twirl. And I'm going to add our, there it is, rice vinegar. So this is kind of covering all the bases. It's got our umami, it's got the sweet, it's got the sour, it's got the little bit of salt. Let's get all that goodness. And then I like to add a little bit of Bragg's aminos. Who's used those before? These have amazing flavor. It's like a soy sauce, but it has a little bit of a smoky flavor too. So I just add only like a teaspoon of that. And then over here at our stove, we will get it going. And we'll add some water or vegetable broth, about a half a cup. I kind of just eyeball it. Get that heating with our tempeh. Now this is great on your salads. So you could, for your holiday salad, you could add this on top and it will just really make that salad pop. And also add some more of these on your salad. So good. Pomegranate. Okay, so once you get this heating, you can start adding your sauce. And really, basically, it's just cooking it down. Once you get the sauce and you get your tempeh, just cook it down. So put it on really high heat to get it started. All right, so meanwhile, I want to show you something that is one of my go-tos also, is the Portobello mushroom steaks. Do you see those? So Portobello mushrooms are amazing and so easy. I just heat my oven up to like 400 degrees. I take out the stems. I already give them a little bit of a rinse. I actually roast the stems too. Don't throw them out. Look at this. They have a great meaty texture. You can use those, add to your tacos or something like that. Just add, you could add it to your pilaf if you wanted to. So I take that out so I can add some nice flavoring. And what I do is I just add a little bit of balsamic vinegar, just a touch, and then some spices. So these are garlic powder, onion powder, again, my Italian seasonings, and some pepper. So just add those to the center and around. Spread it through a little bit. But this is also something that I'll buy a whole bunch of these, and instead of putting them in the fridge, I put them right in the oven and get them ready. And then I just store them in the fridge and add mushrooms to lots of different things and to meals. But you could also make a mushroom burger really easily. So that's just about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so back over to our tempeh. Can you guys see that? Yeah, so look, it's starting to thicken up. So I kind of try to time my prepping with my shopping. I shop on days where I can come home, and like if I bought beets, I'll just cut the stems off right away and throw those beets in the water and boil them. And then I take them out when they're tender. I let them cool, and then under the sink water, I take off the peel. So that's super fast for creating beets, and I keep those beets in the fridge and put them in salads, put them in meals. Beets are amazing for your lung health. They're really filling. They have nice natural sugars. All right, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Let's see, what else do I have planned for you guys? I wanted to also talk about a great appetizer that you can try. I gave you a recipe for sweet potato toast. So look at that. So these are, all I did was slice the sweet potato. I, of course, scrubbed them. Then I sliced them into, about 1/2-inch pieces. And I didn't peel them, but you could, especially maybe if you're going to do this for a holiday appetizer and think people might not like the peel. I like the peel. It's chewy. It's, of course, more fiber. I know that there's nutrition there. But what did I do? I topped it with this other recipe that's on my blog, which is a Mediterranean white bean hummus or dip spread. So good with sun-dried tomatoes and rosemary in it. Okay, and I'm going to show you a nice touch. A nice way to add some color is to use your marinated onions. So that's a recipe you guys have, and I keep these in the fridge. Marinated onions. Look how pretty. These are red onions. All I do is cut them up, put them in here sliced, or you could chop them if you like, but I like them sliced like this and add to tacos, put them in burritos, in wraps. They are ready to go, and I don't like raw onions, but I like them this way. I like them marinated like this. And seriously, it's just apple cider vinegar and water. Anyway, so I take a piece of this and add it to my little You can just crisscross on there and add some nice color to it. And these are delicious. Oh, I tried it earlier today. I tried it with a mild jarred jalapeno. They make them. They're mild. They're good. That was really good on there. Yeah. Oh, and a drizzle of some vinegar is nice. So this is a California balsamics. Who's heard of them? They're a great company of all these flavors. So this one's a hickory smoked, but there's also this is a nice thick balsamic vinegar from Napa Valley Naturals and like a Grand Reserve. So that one you can get at any store, and you can just give a little drizzle on your gourmet. Nice. Tastes so good. So that's a nice little appetizer idea, but everyday foods also. That's those sweet potato toasts are great every day. I just have them with hummus, or I have it with avocado, a little bit of spike seasoning. Let me show you that. My favorite seasoning is one of my favorites is spike seasoning, old school at Sprouts and things like that. A little bit of that on avocado is great. So a lot of people think, it's like they're eating bread and they're not getting a lot of nutrition. So you can have sweet potatoes as, one of your bread options. So I wanted to show you one other thing with a twist here is my raw berry compote. Okay, you guys can see, I think. So this is, I've been making this for years. Let me grab this out of the way for a second. So that's my tempeh's done, guys. Looks good. I always like to make sure you guys get lots of ideas. So I'm going to start my water boiling for my last demo. Not really high. Okay. So for dessert, we don't want to forget dessert. All right. That better? So berries. Berries make an amazing dessert, of course, and they're so good for you. They're great for your brain health. They're great for your immune system. They're tasty. So this is my raw berry compote. And what I do is I actually date sweeten it. So I use my frozen berries, which are right here. They've been thawing for a while, but you can see there's a lot of juice in there. So that's why most compotes are cooked, is because of the amount of juice it has to cook down. But I've got a trick. I'm using chia seeds. Chia seeds are a superfood. And they're great for cleansing your body. They're a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. So I'm going to start with my dates. I love dates. All my cookies and desserts that I sell are date sweetened. First, I go ahead and give them a chop. Oh, would help if I plugged it in. I love my food processor. Okay, so these are chopped up. Now I'm going to go ahead and add our berries. These are just thawed frozen berries, mixed berries from Costco. Okay, but wait, make it a holiday treat. Let's add some cranberries. So these are these are dried cranberries. Again, soaking the oil off. And soaking them is also going to help them to incorporate into this and give it a nice flavor. I haven't tried this before, so I'm going to just let you know whether I think it adds a really nice cranberry taste. But a lot of people don't like straight cranberries, but you still want to be festive. You still want to have, that festive side dish along with your tofu and your stuffing and your Oh, and I have great tofu recipe too online. I'll have to find that link for you guys on Google. All right. So let's go. And we'll add our seeds. Just go ahead and sprinkle in our seeds. So at first it's going to be a little bit on the watery side, but it will thicken up as time goes on with those seeds in there. Let's kind of see that they're going to, they're there, but what they do is, I call it blooming. They'll bloom. So let's go around over here. All right, I'm going to give it a taste. I'll let you know how much it tastes like cranberries. It's good. So I added, to that recipe, I added a half a cup of cranberries. Yeah, I'm getting the cranberry taste and all the berries. And this is going to be a great little, really super healthy cranberry side dish for your plate. But guess what? It's really great for every day. So what do you guys have? You guys have ideas of what you would do with this?
I'm going to put that in my oatmeal, my steel cut oatmeal.
Exactly. Every day. Yeah. You can put it, use it as jelly. It will become like jelly. Chia seeds they just need like a couple hours and they become jelly. You know what? You can also, if you're worried about using it, go ahead, throw it in a smoothie. Just take your bananas, your non-dairy milk, and this, and make a nice smoothie. For dessert or whatever. If you're having pancakes, if you're having waffles, I have clients and they just they eat a ton of waffles. You can find some actually, I think, better waffles on the market, frozen ones. And this is going to uptake that a lot, so you're taking your super convenient frozen waffles, and look for the whole grain ones, of course, and look for, ones that are cleaner ingredients. And then you've just made it into something that's going to help fill you up, because just a waffle isn't going to even fill you up probably. But yeah, any other ideas? I don't know. Yeah, it's just eat it. It's really good. So you can have the side of any dinner also for dessert, whatever. But berries, can't say enough about how important they are to incorporate them in your diet. And Costco's made it super easy. Trader Joe's, all those places have made it super easy for us to grab that. Oh, and I wanted to show you another dessert idea, breakfast idea is to make, I gave you a recipe for pumpkin oat bars. So just bananas, pumpkin, oats, spices, and I put cranberries in mine. And I put some pumpkin seeds. Delicious. They're so good. They freeze. I froze these. They freeze super well. You can put some of that compote on top, and they're super sweet, super good. Salads. Don't forget to incorporate your salads. I'm spoiled. I don't like salad dressing from the store, so I make my own salad dressing. And so I gave you guys a recipe for a Zowie zucchini dressing, and incorporates hemp seeds in it. Hemp seeds, yay, very good, great protein, great omega-3 fatty acids. If you don't like the green, you could use this type of squash, summer squash. I put mustard in it, I put garlic, and you never know, you're gonna get this super creamy, delicious sauce dressing that is super low in calories, because the base of it is zucchini, has no calories. So, you know, if you're really looking to lose weight, you'd add less hemp seeds, less tahini. But nobody knew that when you blend up zucchini or summer squash, it's really super creamy. So those are some great tricks. So, oh, and pomegranate. What I do is I take the wedge of the top out and I score it around here and then open it up and then just take it apart in water. I was just going crazy here for a little while. You guys, are there any questions? I can't read the comments or the chat, so I'd like to see if there's any questions anybody likes to ask while I get ready for my one more thing. I forgot, I don't want to forget this one. But go ahead and ask.
I can't believe how quickly you've put all this together. I didn't think there was any way you were going to do this in this amount of time. So
yeah,
I'm
it's absolutely amazing,
impressed.
Tracy. Wow.
Yeah,
Very amazing.
I just do a lot of cooking. So
Mm-hmm.
I raised a family, and I was determined to get kale into them. So here we go. And I'm determined to get kale into you. So just your boiling water. Here's your kale, curly kale from Sprouts or whatever. Don't use the stem because, you know, it's not going to cook the same way. So I just take off the stem. I use the stem in my broth. Again. And then you can just rip it up. You can add a little salt to your water if you want. Now I do this for all my greens. I do it for broccoli. I do it for Brussels sprouts, and I do it for kale. So not all my greens, but most of them, most of my cruciferous greens. I just get the water boiling really nicely. I use this tool. This is like a wire mesh strainer, spider strainer. And then I just go ahead. I actually don't even wash the kale because you are putting it in boiling water. It's going to totally clean it. So I do this again when I get home from the store. I will get my broccoli done a lot of times. I'll get my kale done and then just store it in the fridge. And I would maybe add a little to that pilaf, add it to soups, just eat it. If you guys follow the work of Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, who wrote the book Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, he's going to tell you you need to eat this 6 times a day. So
Yes.
that's right. This is the easiest way to do it, is just get it going. I seriously just cook it for just a few minutes. Look, it turns bright green. It gets tender. And then I store it. And it's great cold. Lemon, a little bit of lemon on it. I have a great recipe for nut Parmesan, and it's nutritional yeast and nuts and garlic powder and salt. And that also is great on this. So I don't know. There's no excuse. It's easy.
Tracy, how long would something like that last in the fridge?
So now that's a good point. I have done it where, you know, I was running out of space in my fridge or something, and I put it in a Ziploc bag, and it didn't last as long. So what I do is put it in a container like this. Make sure you drain the water out, you know, so there will be some water, of course, from the leaves. And then just hold it, drain it, make it sure that it's nice and dry, because moisture is not your friend,
Right?
usually in the fridge. So, you know, it should last for about 4 or 5 days, something like that. So you could make a lot. I do same thing with broccoli. I've done the same thing, stuck in a bag on a trip or something. You got to eat that pretty quickly. But if you keep it in a container that has air around it, I found that too, like keeping your herbs. I wash my cilantro. That's a really bad one, you know, because it gets all kind of gunky in the fridge. So I wash it right away, and then I'll I'll put some paper towels at the bottom and paper towels at the top, make sure it's nice and dry as possible, and then put it in that container lined with the paper towels. It stays for a long time. So they like a little air around it. They like cold. They don't like too much wet. But I found that when you do this, you're going to eat it much faster than if you just threw it in the fridge and forgot about it.
Right.
I think that's a very good point. You don't end up at the end of the week opening that vegetable drawer and saying, oh, I forgot I bought this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because even if you end up like eating out more than you expected or whatever, you can still, snack on this stuff. It's good. I mean, that's what has happened to me too, especially I didn't put salt in the water, but a little bit of salt and it tastes really good. Is I've just gotten to, I like restaurant food and I like, overly done. I call it foods, like super, super, salty or whatever, but I really like the taste of fruits and vegetables, grains, beans on their own. So it's taken a while. I wasn't raised that way, but now it's easy, because I've just over the years just gotten to eating that way. And of course I worked as a chef for Dr. Furman's Eat to Live retreat. We didn't add any salt to anything. So when you're hungry, you'll eat it. No, it's good. Any other questions?
Anybody have any other questions for Tracy? We are coming to the end of our hour. Well, Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Dr. Esselstyn doing that, taking, I was kind of trained on that for many, many years. And I've gotten in the habit every morning, I take a pound of greens and cook them. And when I was following strictly, Esselstyn's, I would eat, 6 times a day, and I wasn't successful 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But now what I tend to do is eat a third of that in the morning, a third for lunch, and a third for dinner. And sometimes I'll take those greens. For example, I may take whole grain pasta. I'll put those greens in the pasta,
Exactly.
and it's delicious. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And Dr. Barnard has pointed out that eating pasta at night, is kind of calming and relaxing. You sleep better. And putting the greens in is just an amazing dish. I love that.
Gary, do you cook your greens in a similar fashion as Tracy, like boiling them?
Oh, yeah. In fact, that's one of the things that how could you eat a pound of greens in a day? And Dr. Esselstyn has you cook them.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's much easier to do. Dr. Furman says you should try to eat a pound of greens a day, but if they're not cooked, that would be a monumental task.
Well, and steaming doesn't cook it evenly. So that's why I like this, and I end up like maybe cooking some of that longer. I like this. It's all even. You've cooked. You know how long you've cooked it.
Yes,
and also overcooking your cruciferous vegetables can decrease the kill the sulforaphane, which is an important enzyme for cancer prevention. So, and also, another thing from Dr. Michael Greger, adding the raw back. So say you have this, you have your greens, and then you munch on this, that actually reactivates the sulforaphane. It's crazy. And it reactivates it in the cooked stuff too. Yeah. So, and that applies to anything. So you could add, radishes, just eating radishes or eating a little stalk of broccoli or whatever. It's like just something that's fun to know, and you're going to always do it. But, there's things you can get in the habit of doing. And if you're really determined, just make it a habit, and then it's just a habit, and then you do it.
Right. Yeah.
Anyone else have any other questions for Tracy? Well, Tracy, this was fabulous. I hope that we can.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope that we can have you again and make more recipes for us, because this is wonderful. So Tracy, yes, I was hoping Lauren was going to put that up. You can see here information, and Lauren also put it into the chat of where you can find some of the like the blog that Tracy mentioned. I was perusing her website yesterday. Lots of great recipes there. Where her goodies are. I like carrot cake, cookies, and all kinds of yummy things like that. And then she will also, you can sign up for her newsletter and provide some information to us that way. So thank you so much, Tracy. This was amazing, and I'm feeling inspired and hungry.
Oh, yeah, it's dinner time. So yeah, and I'm making cheese now. So
Oh my!
Oh wow!
And for people in San Diego, they could totally order it. And I'm working on that perishable shipping so that I can get it out to people, because anybody that tastes it at the markets I do buys it. They love it.
Yeah, you can see that on her Instagram. Actually, you can see the cheese that she is selling at the local markets in San Diego. So hopefully we can see that be available for us that don't live in San Diego soon.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so,
Tracy.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much for having me. You guys.
Bravo.
Thank you, Tracy. You were wonderful.
Thanks. Eat kale.